A castle, Ife. No, I'm not done yet. Bałoni, Bałolowa, Mosharoe, Shotidzię. I'm hungry as well. I'm very thrilled to be able to speak to you today. I was reading a little bit about the city of Ile-Ife, and if I remember properly, it's the city of expansion. And Oduduwa was right. You guys actually have expanded everywhere. I can see Nigerians wherever I go, wherever I travel in the world. And that's for you. This is the birthplace of an amazing Yoruba culture. And I know what I'm saying because my future wife is Yoruba. She's going to love me for that, but she's going to kill me for what I'm going to say now. But whenever she's angry, she's amazing, but whenever she's angry, I try to keep myself out of the house. I have come here today to speak to you about how taking chances, and many times risking, without even thinking about the decision I'm making, shaped my life. And this has resulted in many failures, but at the end of the day, I think that sometimes it has also resulted in some smaller or bigger successes. And you'll be the judge if it works or not. So I was born and raised in a very small city of Koszalin in the north of Poland. And I was born and raised in a very traditional family. My mother is a teacher. My dad is a soldier. And they have given me great values. But you know, they kind of felt that they know better what I want to do in my life than me. So let me give you an example of the typical conversation with me and my mom when I was like 15. My mom was like, son, I know that you're not really able to decide what you want to do in your life, but I know better. You're very good at maths, so we're going to send you to a technical university just in our city. And then you should be a maths teacher. I can actually get you a job in the very school I am teaching. And your daddy is going to help you build a house just next to ours. And then we're going to raise together your children. So as you may assume, I was raised in fear. And when I had the opportunity to choose between the university in my city and the university at the very end of my country, I chose the latter. And that was the first risk I took. It didn't take long for me to understand that studying maths and teaching maths is not the thing I want to do in my life. And at that time, I found a friend who was an investment banker. And he had a great lifestyle, and I wanted to do the same as he is doing. It turned out later that he's a door-to-door sales agent, selling investment products and insurance products, but I didn't really care. So after 6 months, I dropped out of my university, and I pursued my career in investment banking. After a couple of years, we were making very good money, but I felt like I'm missing something. I didn't want to be a 20-year-old guy, then turned into a 50-year-old guy that's selling insurance products till the end of his life. And at that time, we have heard stories about, irritating hipsters sitting in their fancy Starbucks coffee shops in California and Silicon Valley and typing on their fancy MacBooks and apparently making millions. So I said to myself, I'm better than them. I can do it as well. So I quit my job, my best paid job so far, and I decided to launch startups. It didn't take me long to find the idea I want to start. Because whenever an entrepreneur wants to start an idea, he thinks about solving his own problems. That's mainly how it works. So I have built a dating website. In 6 months, I have failed tremendously and in a spectacular way. We have lost all our money. But it was fun. I really loved it. And at that time of my life, I decided I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to be my own boss, and I want to build online startups. The only problem I had is that I didn't have any money anymore. So I heard about this concept of business angels and venture capitalists that are actually searching for young people that have cool ideas and they want to invest in them. And I remember very clearly, like it was yesterday, I was going to a conference hoping to pitch my idea, and I didn't have money for my ticket, and I was actually sitting in the toilet of the train because I was hiding myself from the guy that is checking if you have the ticket or not. I don't know how it happened, but somehow I have pitched my idea, and I was able to exchange some business cards. And around a week after, I got a phone call. And a guy told me, I was impressed by your pitch, and I want to invest in your startup. And that wasn't a startup. I didn't even have a landing page. I just lost all my money on the business. And he's like, well, I hope you have learned something from it, haven't you? So 2 years fast forward, we've been able to build together 2 other online businesses. I'll talk about it later. And we were able to exit them with the help of VC as well. Another thing, it's good to work with a mentor that will help you, not make all the mistakes that you want to make. And I was still remembering the case of United States and all the cool startups. And for me, as someone that built online businesses, that was the ultimate goal. And me, probably just like you, when I was raised watching Hollywood movies. And I was raised watching video clips from Los Angeles, California on MTV. So I was living in, hoping that I'm going to, finalize the American dream. But before I moved to the United States, actually, some guys approached me. These are the guys that are now my investors. And they invited me for a talk. And they were telling me about all these cool things that they are doing in Africa already. These are the founders of Jumia, by the way. And they said, Marek, you're a crazy guy. You like adventures. You're going to be a good fit for our team. I said, OK, no problem. Africa, I heard it's warm there. And I heard there are some good kite surfing spots in Egypt. So they looked at each other. They looked at me, and they said, Marek, no. It's Nigeria. So at that time, my knowledge about Nigeria was the so-called Google knowledge. So I knew what Boko Haram is in 419. But I wasn't scared of that, because every country has a bad or good PR. I wanted to do some more research, because I was risking my whole life. And I found a Nigerian restaurant in Warsaw, and it was run by a Nigerian guy. By the way, that was the first time when I tried pepper soup, and I loved it. But my stomach said never again. We were talking about Nigeria, and he told me so many crazy stories about Nigeria. He gave me the Chinua Achebe book, Everything Falls Apart. And he said, if I didn't have my family here, I would move to Nigeria right away, because now this is the place where everything is happening. So for me, that was enough. I have taken risks so many times, and at the end of the day, the summary was positive. So I wanted to take a risk again. So there I was, after a couple of weeks, landed in Lagos, not knowing anything about building businesses in Nigeria, but having a goal. I want to build the biggest online travel agency in the next 3 years in Africa. Ambitious enough, isn't it? And it took me some time and some pain to understand what it really is to build businesses here. I learned the hard way what I'm coming really means. Waiting for a guy 5 hours for a meeting. Jovago.com is an online marketplace. We actually connect travelers inside Africa with hotels. And on one side, we need to approach directly customers and explain them the benefits of booking a hotel online. Tell them that this is cheaper, faster, easier, and actually it's safe to pay online. Customers who book hotels online on Jovago actually make their first purchase online ever. We are creating the market. I like to think of our activities like that. And on the other side, imagine sending our guys to Kano to talk to a hotel manager that is managing successfully a hotel, but without using a computer. And we have to convince him that there's a company that invests its own money to promote that hotel, and only if we're going to send him a customer, he's going to pay us a commission. And the only thing we want is his signature and his bank account. Try to convince him it's not a scam. That wasn't easy. I also had to learn the smaller things, like when you buy suya on the street, and they pack it in the newspaper. Ask for the Guardian newspaper. It tastes the best. Doesn't work with these days. I tried. I am not a historian, and I am not an economist. I'm just passionate about Africa, because I feel like I belong here. Well, actually, the human race comes from here. And what I really believe in is that this is the time for young Africans and for other people to do something in Africa, because not only you can make money building businesses, but you actually have the ability to change your community, ability to change your society and environment in a much bigger way than if you did that in Europe right now. People from so-called first worlds, people from so-called comfortable countries come here, and they want to settle here and build business here, and they are satisfied here. You should do the same. Whenever there's a breakthrough in technology, there's a change of the status quo. When there's a change of the status quo, you have chances, you have opportunities, and whoever taps to those opportunities, new fortunes are made. This is what happened when we discovered oil. This is what happened when we discovered gold. This is what happened in the early 19th centuries with the Industrial Revolution. This is what IBM did. This is what Microsoft did. This is what Alibaba and Facebook are doing now. Just because you are here smart and young and technology is like your second skin, you already have a great advantage. When you want to launch a business, all you need to do is look around, ask for daily problems of your peers, of your family, and just knowing how to use the technology that is already available, you can answer their question and you can advise them how to change something and maybe build a business around it. I know that you're going to be, plenty of you, you're going to be future lawyers, doctors, engineers, or architects. But if you're talking about solving gigs, I believe that one of the biggest challenges of this country, or maybe one of the easiest way to solve other challenges, is solve the unemployment problem. And in order to do that, you cannot just be a lawyer. You have to be an entrepreneurial lawyer that's going to build a law firm and hire people. You cannot just be an architect. You have to be an entrepreneur architect that will only launch a company and hire architects, and so on and so forth. Look around. I actually got 200,000 euros funding for launching an online funeral company, believe it or not. I was sitting in a cafe with my friend, and he got a phone call. Someone from his family died. And he was in a shock, obviously, and he had to call someone to organize the funeral. He didn't call his priest, he didn't call his doctor, he didn't search for a newspaper. He took his smartphone and was trying to find a funeral home address. And an average age of a funeral home director in Poland is 60 years. They don't even know what internet is. So what we did is we built a platform to connect people that are in a shock and need to quickly get an information about the funeral to the funeral homes. This was an easy way to solve a problem and build a business around this. Whenever you want to change something and solve a problem, you're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to go out of your comfort zone. And I believe that taking risks and failing in order to succeed in the end can actually be comfortable, can be manageable, and can be fun. You only have to do one thing. You have to trust yourself. And there's a difference between trusting yourself and believing in yourself. When I came to Nigeria, I trusted in myself because trust comes from experience, that I failed many times, but I know always how to get up. Believing in yourself means that you're just young and optimistic. Trust comes with time. When a bird lands on a tree and sits on a branch, he's not scared that the branch is going to break. Not because he trusts the tree, but because he has a trust in his wings. So solve the problems by taking risks. If your branch is going to break, use your wings to fly, search for another branch that hopefully will be stronger this time. So I encourage you to move on, and let's break some branches together. Thank you.